Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill, and today we're trying something new again. Always like trying something new. Today we are going to be smoking a chuck roll roast. Never had one before, but I think this is going to be great. Stick around. Thanks for hanging in there. Like I said, I've never done this chuck roll roast before, but this piece of meat is gorgeous. And one of the reasons that I picked it up, not only is it a beautiful looking piece of meat, but this thing seems so tender already, nice and loose. Just like when you're looking for a brisket, you want that nice loose brisket. I feel it in this one. So we're gonna cook this low and slow on the Weber Smoky Mountain. At some point, we'll put it into an aluminum pan with a little bit of beef stock. Try to break it down a little bit more, and I think we're gonna try to make some pulled beef out of this. We'll see how it turns out at the end. So first thing I'm gonna do, see if there's anything that needs to be trimmed up. Not a lot, but there are a few little pieces of the silver skin here. But again, there's not a lot on here. This piece of meat's really nice looking. Getting some of that hard fat out of there that we know probably isn't going to render too well. I think that's it. This thing again is pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and rub this up. And today we're going to be using Pork Mafia's steak and burger rub. This is a great rub for anything beef. So I'm just going to pour it on here liberally. Man, I'm excited for this thing. Get all sides. There you go. You have a rubbed up chuck roll roast. Now we're gonna get the Weber Smoky Mountain fired up. We're going to be using Jealous Devil lump charcoal with some pecan wood, and we are using a water pan filled with water. I like to line it with aluminum foil just to help clean up later on. So let's get that fired up and then get this on the grill. Okay, the Weber Smoky Mountain is up to temperature. We're gonna run this cook between 250 to 275 for the duration of the cook. Let's get this hunk of goodness on here. I am gonna use a temperature probe. I'm gonna put it in the thickest part here to monitor the cook as it goes. And we're gonna come back probably an hour, 2 hours, see how it's looking, maybe give it a spritz or two, and then just keep monitoring the internal temperature as we go. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we have the Smoky Mountain running steadily at about 275 internal. This has been going for an hour and a half. Let's take our first look at it. That is looking beautiful. And we are gonna give it a little spritz here. Doesn't need too much. Just using some water mixed with apple cider vinegar. Didn't need a lot there, so we're gonna close this back up. Come back in probably another hour and a half, or when it gets to about 165 internal. Right now we're looking at 120 internal after an hour and a half. So the internal temperature is reading at about 162, and we're gonna give it another spritz, take a quick look at it. This bark is looking really nice here. So it's time. We're gonna pull this off right now, and we're gonna wrap it in a pan. Okay, so we've pulled this off the grill. We're putting it into a tin pan here, and I do have a little cooling rack inside here because I'm gonna add some beef broth to this, and I don't necessarily want it sitting in the broth. I just want enough here to kind of fill the bottom, but not necessarily get all the way up to the meat. So we're gonna add this, and this thing is looking amazing, and it's smelling even better. So we got this filled with the beef broth. We're gonna wrap it with foil and get it back on the grill until it probes internal temp around 205 to 210, because I really want this to break down so we could do some pulled beef. Wrap this up nice and tight. Now this is gonna go back on the grill until about 205 to 210 internal. Then we're gonna pull it out and let it rest for a while, maybe an hour, 2 hours. Let it really break down and redistribute those juices, and then we're gonna come back and pull it. So we'll see you when it's time to pull after the finish and the rest. So this was resting in the cooler for about 2.5 hours. It is now about 11 hours in the cook, 11 and a half hours. So 9 hours of cooking, and a couple hours of being wrapped up. Let's open this up. Let's take a look. It looks gorgeous. That bark on it is something else. So what I'm gonna do, I wanna shred this, so I'm really hoping that it's pull apart tender. And it is. Look at that. You can see how juicy it is still. Oh my word. This pulls right apart. Wow. Look at this. I'm gonna go ahead and take this cooling tray out, because now we're gonna mix it back in with all those good juices. Oh yeah, this is the money right here. This is the money right here, everybody. Oh, that smell. So it's such a rich, beefy flavor. All right. Man, that just fell apart. That's delicious. Wow. So I actually took this to almost 210 degrees. I pulled it at 208 before I put it into the cooler. The reason I went to 208 is because as I was temp probing it at 200, 203, 205, it just wasn't ready yet. At 208, it felt like a hot knife going through butter. So this is done. Chuck roll roast. If you find one, get it and try this recipe. It is awesome. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us. Follow this channel if you like what we're doing here. Give me a comment. I appreciate you all. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.